Hello everyone, my name is Kritika Shrestha and I am a master's student at Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering and Construction, and today I'll be giving my presentation on the synthesis report, which is a literature review on top leading modular construction companies in the world, focusing on majorly on the building sector. So let's begin quickly by going over what we'll be covering today. So here's a roadmap for today's presentation. We'll start with the introduction and purpose, moving on to the research question, and then the research methodology, and we'll understand the operational differences of different companies, and then we'll dive into the literature review and data analysis, and then discuss the results, and finally conclude with the key findings. So now let's get started with a brief introduction into the study. So this study focuses on a comparative review of the five leading modular construction companies, which is Vision Modular System, Bouygues Construction, Red Sea International, DMD Modular, and Fleetwood Australia. And we also classified these operations, which is based on three major categories, which is the input parameters, the output, the processing methods, and the output results. And the main objective was to explore the relationship between the company size, technology advancement, productivity, and the market diversity. So, with that context in mind, let's now look. Let's now take a look about the basic research questions that will guide the study further. So, this research was driven by three major questions, which is the first is in what ways do these companies differ or align in the research input parameters, and secondly, what are the similarities or the differences that appears in the resource processing methods, and the third one will be looking at what distinctions and commonalities exist in their outputs and the production. So to answer these questions, we have to understand the basic operational differences of the companies. So when we look at the when we look at the operational differences, we have to study the companies systematically, and we have divided their operations into the three categories, which is the input parameters, processing parameters, and the output parameters. So for the input parameters, the input included the factors such as the location of factories, number and the sizes of factories, number of employees, ownership types, and the material used by those companies. And for the processing parameters, we'll be focusing on the type of assembly lines, the advanced technology used, and the year the module was produced. And for the output parameters, we'll be looking at the number of module produced per year and the type of project they targeted. So moving further, now let's dive into the literature review and start with the input parameters. So firstly, for the input parameters, we'll be looking about the at the location of the factories. So looking at the location of the factory, the Vision Modular System was is mainly operated in England. The DMD Modular is based on Poland. The Bouygues Construction has its base in France, but it operates internationally as well. And the Red Sea International has a major facilities in four different areas, like the Saudi Arabia, UAE, Ghana, and Malaysia, which also shows a global presence. And talking about Fleetwood Australia, it is spread across Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, Western Australia, and Southern Australia. So overall, we can see that the Bouygues Construction and this Red Sea International, it shows a broader global footprint compared to this, which are more nationally focused. So moving on now, let's compare the number of factories each company operates. So when we look at the Fleetwood Australia, it leads in the number of factories, operating seven factories across Australia. And when we look at Bouygues Construction and Red Sea International, each company have four factories, which also represents a medium scale of production. And when we look at the Vision Modular System, it has two factories, while DMD Modular operates just one, which is set up as well. So, following the number of factories, now let's have a look at the actual size of these factories. So, when it comes to the factory size, Bouygues Construction has by far the largest, with a factory area of about 3 million and 200. 3,200,000 square feet, and the Red Sea International follows with approximately 830,000 square feet. And when we look at Vision Modular System, it has a motor factory size of 65,000 square feet, with Fleetwood Australia, which has a more compact footprint of around 179,000. DMD Modular, which operates the smallest facility among all of these companies, which is at about 118,000 square feet. So, besides the factory size, the number of the employees working in the factories also reflects the company. Uh, it also reflects the company's operational scale. So, we'll be looking at the number of employees where the Bouygues Construction stands out. Again, with a massive workforce of about 35,600 employees. And Ritz International, it has about 3,000 employees, which also shows a strong regional presence. And the Fleetwood Australia, it operates with around 600 employees, suggesting a and Vision Modular System, it has around 250 employees, while DMD Modular employs 126 people. So clearly, Bouygues is operating as much higher and larger scale as compared to others. So we'll be looking at the ownership structure and the materials used, which are also the key operational aspects. So for the ownership, in terms of ownership, the Vision Modular System, DMD Modular, and Bouygues Constructions are private companies, and which usually allows for quicker decision making and flexibility. And rates and markets. And similarly, when we look at the markets that is used for this structure by these companies, we can see that the Vision Modular System, it uses steel, reinforced concrete, and gypsum plasterboards. And Bouygues Construction, they uses the low carbon concrete, wood, metals, and biosource materials, which also shows the commitment to the sustainability. And when we look at the Red Sea International, it primarily uses the steel framing system, composite panels, rock wool insulation, and PVC panels. And when we look at the DMD modular, it mainly focuses on recyclable materials like steel, MFP boards, and fiber boards. So uh, and for the Fleetwood Australia, we can see that it mainly relies on the steel framing for its structure. So, having understood the input parameters, let's now move into the company processes and their operation. And we'll be looking at the processing parameters. When it comes to processing, the Vision Modular System is notable for using the automation and integrated BIM technology into the production. And Bouygues Construction leads in the advanced technologies by using 3D printing and digital twin simulations. And DMD Modular also employs the design for manufacturing and assembly, or DFMA, along with BIM integration. And Fleetwood Australia, they uses the FrameCAD technology for automatic steel framing production. And Red Sea International, they are based on the available information, appears to use more conventional production techniques. So, by looking at the experiences, Bouygues Construction has the longest history in the modular production, starting in 1952, followed by Red Sea International, which is founded in 1983, followed by Fleetwood in 1998, and DMD Modular being the newest, which was established in 2016. So, after this, we'll be looking at the output side, and we'll be looking at how many modules these companies actually produce each year. So, when we look at the number of modules produced per year, Red Sea International is the highest volume producer, manufacturer between 15,000 and 30,000 modules annually. And a Vision Modular System produces around 2,000 modules a year, and Fleetwood Australia produces about 1,500 modules, and DMD Modular produces approximately 960 modules annually. And no data was available for Bouygues Construction regarding the annual output. So besides the production volume, the types of project they target, it also reveals a lot about their market. So we'll be looking at the project types that they target, which will be the output parameters. So firstly, the vision modular system, they mainly focuses on the hotels, residential apartments, co-living and urban living developments. And Bouygues Construction, this serves as a broad range including housing, healthcare, education, tourism, and public sectors. Red Sea International, it targets the residential, commercial, corporate, military, and governmental projects. And for the DMD Modular specializes in student housing, elderly homes, and leisure facilities. So for the Fleetwood Australia is the most diverse, which we can see in the bar chart, which also shows that the projects that they are involved in specializes in student housing, elderly homes, leisure facilities, working in the education, government, health, defense, mining, and tourism sectors. So, after reviewing these inputs, processes, and outputs, let's now move into the analysis of the patterns that we observed. So, several key patterns emerged from the literature review. So, the first one is larger companies like Bouygues Construction, they tend to adopt more advanced technologies, and while smaller firms like Vision Modular Systems, they are more focused on the targeted technologies. And secondly, the public companies like Rich Sea International and Fleetwood Australia, they generally have like higher production scales. And while factory size, it alone does not guarantee the efficiency. However, the third one is like, while the larger factory size can support the output higher output, but the efficiency and the type of technology used also plays a bigger role in the actual success. And we have also analyzed that the companies with longer histories in modular construction or the modular production, such as Bouygues and Red Sea International, they target more diverse and market sectors. Meanwhile, the newer companies like DMD Modular tend to focus on the niche areas. So now let's summarize the overall results. And so in summary, I would like to say that Fleetwood Australia leads in the number of factories. The Bouygues Construction leads in factory size and technological maturity, while the Vision Modular System, it leads in automation and production efficiency. And in terms of total output volume, Rates International clearly dominates. And a DMD construction has mainly focused on the specialized and sustainable markets. So after this, so let's conclude the presentation and with major key takeaways from the studies. So, to conclude, the larger firms are typically more technologically matured and serve a broader range of sectors, and the smaller firms succeed by specializing in focused markets. And the factory size and the investment in technology, they do not help production, but true success depends on the operational efficiency and marketing strategies. And for the public companies, they have the better access to the capital, and they tend to scale production faster. And ultimately, a balanced approach with a combination of market presence, technological investments, and operational efficiencies and maturities, it is a key to the long term success. So, before we wrap up, here's a brief note on the references that has been used, and the study has been relied on the information that is gathered from these official websites, academic publications, and reports. So, yeah. That's all for the presentation. I hope you all enjoyed the presentation, and I would like to welcome any questions related to my presentation. And thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Have a good one.